If I told you to recall some levels from Mario 64, what would you think of? Would you think of Bob-omb Battlefield, Thwomp's Fortress, that pyramid level, or Big Boo's Haunt? Whatever you may think of, it will most likely be a popular level for Mario 64. But what about the levels in the game that don't get enough recognition or get way too much hate? Today I'll cover them by talking about what I believe to be the most underrated levels in Mario 64. I'll be ranking the levels by how much I love them, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Okay, I'm definitely gonna get some hate comments for saying Dire Dire Docks is underrated. Yeah, I can definitely see why people hate Dire Dire Docks and say it's their least favorite level. But it's not the worst thing in the world. In fact, I think it's actually a pretty decent level. Wait, let me explain. I think the reason people hate Dire Dire Docks is because it's a lot more slow paced than other levels, and Mario 64 is mostly a game where a lot of things happen in a short time. It's why people often prefer Jolly Roger Bay over Dire Dire Docks. But the thing is, Jolly Roger Bay sucks! It's just so boring. There's barely anything to do. I guess people like Jolly Roger Bay because it's smaller, so there's less work to do, and I guess that's understandable, but still. With Dire Dire Docks, the map is a lot more colorful and complex, and there's more variety. Plus, the stars in the level is very creative. For example, there's one mission where you need to combine both the metal cap and the invisible cap to get a star, and people are overreacting about how difficult getting 100 coins in the level is. I get it. It can be hard to get the coins because the rendering distance in Mario 64 is bad, and Dire Dire Docks only has 106 coins. But at least it's not Lethal Lava Land where you die all the time just because you made a wrong turn. Hot take, but I actually prefer Dire Dire Docks over Lethal Lava Land because Dire Dire Docks doesn't want to make me scream my lungs out because I keep dying from lava or those stupid bullies. As a result, I give Dire Dire Docks a 5 out of 10. It's not a perfect level by any means, but the hate it gets is way too much, I'm not gonna lie. Unlike Dire Dire Docks, Snowman's Land isn't really a hated level, it's just considered an alright level. People often prefer Cool Cool Mountain over Snowman's Land, which is a shame, because I love this level. I can understand why people like Cool Cool Mountain, as it's a lot more open, and let's be real, the first set of levels we were introduced to at the beginning of Mario 64 was pretty bad. Cool Cool Mountain and Thwomp's Fortress were the only tolerable levels on the first floor, at least in my opinion. But Snowman's Land is honestly way better. Even though Snowman's Land is smaller, there's much more things going on. I found myself having more fun with playing Snowman's Land and completing the missions than Cool Cool Mountain. The most interesting thing in Cool Cool Mountain was doing wall kicks, and even that wasn't a masterpiece. With Snowman's Land, you get to go inside an igloo, go on a shell to get red coins, and defeat an ice bully. Even the less interesting stars in Snowman's Land are still good. For example, even though the mission where you have to get a star stuck in ice is very basic, it's still good, as it's like solving a puzzle, and you get a lot of satisfaction when you're able to complete it. Snowman's Land gets a 7 out of 10. Wet Dry World isn't as hated as Dire Dire Docks or even Snowman's Land, but it's definitely a mixed bag for people. Some people say it's a good level, while others say it's an extremely bad one. Honestly, there's no consistent opinion about Wet Dry World. You either hate it or love it. There's no in between. I'm one of the people that love it though. The ability to control the water level is very cool. It's a creative gimmick that makes Wet Dry World stand out from other levels. Wet Dry World isn't too hard or too easy. The balance and difficulty is perfect. The atmosphere of Wet Dry World can be a bit unnerving though, as it can feel a bit empty. The random skywalks with multiple houses feel out of place for a game like Mario 64, and the design of Wet Dry World feels convoluted as well. But that's not a complaint at all. It's why I love Wet Dry World. There's just so many mysteries left unexplained. It's nice to make theories about what happened inside of Wet Dry World. Plus, the addition of the village is nice too. I love Wet Dry World. It's nice to revisit the level every so often. I give it an 8 out of 10. The multiple reasons I love Hazy Maze Cave are pretty similar to the reasons I love Wet Dry World, with a few differences. Hazy Maze Cave is a more confusing level, and an even more mysterious level than Wet Dry World. As a result, it feels so satisfying whenever you're able to get a star, but trying to complete the missions themselves aren't really frustrating. Well, except for elevate for red coins and watch for rolling rocks, but we don't talk about those, okay? Anyway, Hazy Maze Cave is very enjoyable to play, and even though the design of the level is pretty disgusting, it fits Hazy Maze Cave very well. The level is very big, but it's still able to have tons of variety, unlike Cool Cool Mountain and Bob-omb Battlefield. And since Hazy Maze Cave is supposed to be a mysterious level, every star is something brand new, which in turn we get fantastic stars like Amazing Emergency Exit or Metalhead Mario Can Move. As a result, Hazy Maze Cave gets a 9 out of 10. Now this is the moment you've all been waiting for. So what is the most underrated level in Mario 64? Well, that level happens to be Tick Tock Clock. Let me explain. Tick Tock Clock is a very fun level. Every time I play it, it feels like my serotonin levels rise up by 50%. Most people hate Tick Tock Clock because it's way too hard, but honestly, I don't really care. See, even though Tick Tock Clock is a very hard level, I can still tolerate it as it's an enjoyable hard level. It's not the kind of hard that makes you want to throw your controller at your TV. Plus, the design of the level is amazing. Tick Tock Clock takes advantage of its gimmick very well, and it turns it into this masterpiece of a level. Also, you're able to control time too, which is very nice. My favorite stars in Tick Tock Clock has to be Stomp on the Thwomp and Time Jumps on Moving Bars. Many levels fail to be both hard and enjoyable at the same times. Some examples are Lethal Lava Land and Rainbow Ride, but Tick Tock Clock does it perfectly, and I like how with each star, you progress more and more into the stage, and I love how the level rewards you for trying new things as well. 10 out of 10. Perfect level. So yeah, those are the most underrated levels in Mario 64, at least in my opinion. I wanted to make this video as I feel like these levels don't get talked about enough whenever there's a video about Mario 64, and when they are, they're usually in a negative light. I hope my opinions gave you more understanding about these levels, and I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.